I returned to the country early without telling my husband, wanting to give him a surprise. Following the location, I arrived at the KTV private room, only to see him passionately kissing another woman through the glass window. His brothers were all jeering. "You say you want to be child-free for your wife, but in the end, you still got Kylie pregnant. If you ask me, your wife is just pretentious and boring, not even willing to give you a child." He frowned and scolded, "Shut up. Don't joke about my wife. Once the child in Kylie's belly is born, I'll find a reason for my wife to adopt him." He lit a cigarette and added, "My wife is delicate and can't have children. If she finds out about this, I won't let it go with anyone." Everyone swore to keep it from me, ensuring that I wouldn't hear a whisper of it. I stood outside the door, tears streaming down my face. It turned out that the man who adored me to the core, who said he couldn't bear to see me suffer during pregnancy and would rather be childless for me, had already had a child with someone else. In that case, I will make sure he can never find me in this lifetime. I returned home in a daze. I know that woman, she is Brian's new secretary. Everything I saw outside the private room was etched in my mind, lingering for a long time. Those unbearable sounds repeatedly reminded me that the Brian who loved me deeply and held me in his palm had truly cheated. I took out my phone and made a video call to Brian. He hung up on her. Immediately, several messages popped up. "What's wrong, my wife? I'm in a meeting. Sorry, my dear wife, I can't answer your call right now. Are you missing me, my wife? I miss you too, my wife. I'll finish the meeting soon and video call you. I love you." If I hadn't witnessed him kissing another woman earlier, I would really believe his nonsense. I sent him a voice message telling him that I came home early. Brian immediately sent a gif of a little dog happily spinning in circles. Why did my wife come back early? I'm heading home right now. I didn't reply to him, standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, overlooking the night view of the river city. Yesterday, while watching a show abroad, my assistant told me that Brian specifically instructed her to buy all the clothes I looked at a little longer. The little assistant exaggeratedly praised Brian in my ear. "Evelyn, Mr. Brian really loves you so much, he just wishes he could bring the best things in the world to you." She is not wrong, Brian really loves me. He loves me so much that even if I see him kiss another woman with my own eyes, I would doubt that I might have seen it wrong. My mother died of amniotic fluid embolism when she gave birth to me. My dad raised me until I was 18, then committed suicide by cutting his wrists to follow his love. Only I am left with a fortune of over 100 million, being targeted by various people with ulterior motives. Brian burst into my life at that moment. He shielded me from all dangers and harm, holding up a sky for me with his hands. He refused to spend a penny on me, instead transferring all his assets to my name. Everyone says he loves me to the point of madness. The person so high above, yet for the sake of obtaining a talisman for my safety, knelt 3 times and knocked his head 9 times before the Buddha, unable to rise. Even during the busiest times, you must rush back to see me for even half an hour of rest. I have a shadow because of my mother's death, and I dare not have children. Brian wrapped me in his arms and showered me with gentle kisses. He said, "It's best not to have children, I'm afraid that once they're born, they'll compete with me for your love, and I can be jealous. My dear, having you in this life is enough for me, I only love you." Brian's overwhelming love nearly drowned me. Although I resented my father's abandonment, I couldn't help but admire their unwavering love for each other, a commitment to stand by one another until death. I once thought that I, like my mother, married for love and was the happiest woman in the world. I never expected that in the end, it was just a grand dream that turned out to be empty. Time seemed to freeze until the sound of the door opening broke the silence. Brian stood at the door with a joyful expression, and only after feeling the warmth return to his body did he rush over to embrace me. "Wife, why did you suddenly come back early? Wasn't your flight tomorrow? Why didn't you tell me so I could come pick you up?" I stared blankly at the lipstick mark on the side of Brian's neck that hadn't been wiped clean, and reached out to wipe it for him. "Brian, I don't like this smell on you." He carried a scent of women's perfume that did not belong to him. The eye-catching lipstick mark and a cloying fragrance felt like a silent challenge from that woman directed at me. Brian's expression stiffened for a moment, but then he quickly returned to normal. He took a step back, took off his coat and threw it on the ground, looking at me with a face full of frustration. "I'm sorry, dear. There was a client at the meeting tonight whose perfume was too strong. It's my fault for rushing back to see you without taking care of it." How clever Brian is, speaking half-truths. His eagerness to come back to see me is real, but the client's perfume is fake. A cold smile curled at the corners of my mouth as my pale fingers wrapped around his tie and pulled hard. At a distance where I could hear his breath, I spoke each word clearly. "Brian, you're not seeing another woman out there, are you?" Brian's pupils trembled slightly, a look of panic flashed across his face, but years of navigating the business world had long since honed his ability to remain calm in the face of change. He quickly calmed down, looking at me with a face full of grievance, tears even shimmering in his eyes. "Wife. The heavens can bear witness, my heart has only you. What have I done wrong to make you ask like this?" Poof. Seeing his nervous expression, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "It was just a joke, why are you taking it so seriously? Look, you're sweating, go wash up." I reached out to wipe the sweat from his forehead. Brian's stiff body quickly relaxed, and he buried his head to kiss my lips, softly complaining, "Don't say things like that again, you scared me to death." Brian kissed me for a long time before going to take a shower. The moment he turned around, my smile vanished, replaced by overwhelming anger and disgust. 2 lines of clear tears fell, and I wiped my lips forcefully. In that instant, when I caught a glimpse of the panic in his eyes during my earlier probing, I suddenly felt that the man I had loved for nearly 10 years was so unfamiliar. So detestable. Brian came out of the shower and wrapped his arms around my waist, wanting to get close to me. I quietly moved aside, curling up in the corner. "I'm tired." Brian was heartbroken, carefully covering me with the blanket, patting my back like he would for a child. "You've worked hard, my dear. Rest well, and tomorrow I'll take good care of you." Gradually, a steady breathing sound reached my ears. I stared at Brian's face in the darkness, tears soaking the pillow. Even when he sleeps, he unconsciously murmurs my name. I can't understand how he could stop loving me. The next day, he indeed stayed by my side without leaving an inch. The dignified president of the corporation willingly acted as my caretaker, even peeling grapes and bringing them to my mouth. That night, he booked the most luxurious sky restaurant in the city for our date. The view outside was dazzling. Brian took out the necklace he designed himself and put it on me. "This necklace is called Evelyn, named after me, and it is set with a valuable ruby." Brian looked into my eyes filled with love. "Wife, you look so beautiful wearing this necklace." He leaned down to kiss me when the phone on the table rang. I glanced at it, and the screen read KK. "KK, it's a call from his little secretary Kylie." Brian answered the phone with an impatient expression. "Didn't I say I was spending time with my wife today and I'm busy? Can't work matters wait until tomorrow?" I don't know what was said on the other side, but Brian's tone softened, and a look of panic flashed across his face. "Wait for me, I'll be right there." Brian hung up the phone and looked at me with guilt. "I'm sorry, honey, the company has an urgent matter that needs my attention. I promise I'll be back soon." He wants to kiss me. I subtly dodged, "Don't keep them waiting." Brian hurriedly left, and I looked at the dishes on the table that I once loved to eat. At this moment, they felt tasteless, hard to swallow. Turning my head, the glass window at night reflected my tired and disappointed face. The dazzling necklace around my neck made me look like a clown at this moment. I got up to go home, but my wedding ring suddenly slipped off my hand. In the darkness, I cannot see. I can only crouch down to search. The ring is stuck in the gap, the more I push, the farther it goes. I was suddenly taken aback. Perhaps this is what fate has arranged. Brian and I, like this wedding ring, are drifting further apart. On the way home, my phone received a friend request. After accepting the request, the other side sent over a photo of Brian. Brian looked at the pregnancy test report in his hand, smiling gently. A dull pain surged in my heart. On the other side, several videos of Brian entangled in flames were sent one after another. In the car, in the office, in the hotel. Countless lingerie toys, condoms scattered all over the floor. Just because I said my stomach hurt, he dropped you and came to find me, Evelyn. At this point, can't you see who the woman in Brian's heart really is? He says I'm young and fun, while you are aloof and rigid, not moving an inch in bed. He's already tired of you. It's the unloved who are the third party. I advise you to leave on your own, don't wait for me to come and kick you out with a child. Every gasp in the video crazily stimulated my nerves. My hands trembled so much that I could barely hold my phone. Overwhelming pain engulfed me, tears fell one by one, and finally, I covered my face with my hands and cried out loud. When Brian returned, it was already close to midnight. At that time I was lying on the sofa pretending to be asleep. Brian thought I was waiting for him to fall asleep, feeling extremely guilty, and picked me up horizontally to place me on the bed. He warmed my cold feet against his chest. I turned my back to him and opened my eyes. In the silent night, I asked him, Brian, do you love me? The person behind me froze, then tightly wrapped me in their arms, hot tears falling onto my shoulder. I didn't know if it was out of guilt or some other emotion. At this moment, Brian was indeed in tears. I came back too late, making you wait for so long, my wife. I only ask that you do not doubt my love for you, you are more important to me than my own life. I turned around and met Brian's burning gaze. His starry eyes reflected nothing but my image. This reminds me of when I was isolated and helpless, and he unhesitatingly sheltered me from the wind and rain, looking at me with those clear eyes. I never doubt sincerity, but sincerity can change in an instant. I smiled and touched his face. I love you, Brian. I will always love you, the you I met when I was 18, but I will no longer be by your side. Brian held me tightly in his arms, as if I were a fragile object. He whispered to me, wife, let's adopt a child in 2 years, okay? I knew he was talking about his child with Kylie. I didn't hesitate, okay. Anyway, I was leaving, and he could raise whoever's child he wanted. When I woke up, Brian had already gone to work. The bedside table held the breakfast he had made himself, along with a freshly picked rose. The phone is full of love messages from Brian. In between, there are also provocative videos sent by Kylie. Just now, when Brian sent me a report video, Kylie was below helping him relieve his desires with her hand. Nausea surged up, and I raised my hand to overturn the breakfast on the bedside table. After yanking the necklace off my neck and throwing it into the trash can, I booked a flight abroad. In the afternoon, Brian returned and personally helped me into the dress. You must accompany me to the company dinner tonight, my wife. I want them to envy me for having such a beautiful wife. I didn't refuse and was led by him into the car, hand in hand. Tonight is not the first time I've seen Kylie, but I am still surprised by her transformation. Money really does change a person. She no longer has that timid look from our first meeting, but instead has become graceful and radiant. In her brows and eyes, there is still a hint of resemblance to me. An assistant, yet dressed in expensive haute couture, adorned with jewelry from head to toe, truly deserving of being Brian's beloved. Brian stayed by my side the whole time, holding my hand, but his peripheral vision kept darting over to Kylie. Until a boss insisted that Kylie drink with him. Kylie could not refuse and raised her glass to drink. Brian quickly shook off my hand, snatched Kylie's glass, and drank it all in one go. The force almost made me fall to the ground. The gazes around me were all focused on me. There was mockery, confusion, and sympathy. Until Brian reacted and ran towards me, he nervously grabbed my hand and explained, Kylie is pregnant and can't drink alcohol. As her boss, I can't just watch her neglect her health for the sake of socializing, can I? I suppressed the impulse to slap him and smiled at Kylie. Miss Kylie is truly a strong woman, still socializing while pregnant. I just wonder what the father of the child is doing. Kylie stood beside Brian, showing me the ruby bracelet on her wrist. The father of my child is busy making money, and this ruby bracelet on my hand was designed by my husband himself. My heart suddenly contracted, and the sharp pain made my face turn pale. So Brian designed a necklace and a bracelet, giving one to me and one to Kylie. Seeing that my complexion was off, Brian pushed Kylie away, nervously holding my arm, and with a worried expression said, "Honey, why do you look so pale? Are you feeling unwell?" I shook my head, propping myself on the table to brush his hand away. "I'm a bit tired, I'm going back first." Seeing this, Brian wanted to take me back, and I smiled as I pushed him towards Kylie. "It's okay, you take good care of the pregnant lady, just don't let her drink anymore." After saying that, I turned and left. Seeing me like this, Brian was filled with deep unease and anxiety. He was about to chase after me, but was tightly grabbed by the arm by Kylie behind him. "Brian, I bought the set you love the most." Brian hesitated for a moment, then turned back and pinched Kylie's face. "Little fairy." Of course I didn't leave, I was just sitting in the car across the street. I watched helplessly as they walked out hand in hand and got into Brian's car. "Uncle Benjamin, keep up with them." Brian's car turned and drove to the entrance of a villa. The car arrived, but no one got out. After a while, the car began to shake. My hand is tightly clenched in my palm, yet I don't feel any pain. Uncle Benjamin saw this and sighed deeply. "Miss, I have watched you grow up, and forgive me for saying this, such a man should not be kept." I didn't say a word. Brian got out of the car, then walked to the passenger side to pick up Kylie, smiling as he headed toward the villa. Kylie's dress was torn, covered by Brian's suit on her upper body. I held back my sadness and opened my phone. It was a voice message from Kylie. In the recording, Brian's hoarse and deep voice came through. "Since the mouth below isn't working, let's use the mouth above." After so many years of marriage, Brian has never shown me this domineering and possessive side. I put down my phone and looked out the window, softly saying, "Uncle Benjamin, I will give you some money. After I leave, you should go too." After returning home, I took a baseball bat and smashed our 200 square meter house to pieces in a fit of rage. Our wedding photos, the various luxury items Brian bought for me, the handmade ceramics we made together, all traces of our love turned to ruins in that moment. I counted all the finances carefully and went downstairs to take the car to the airport. From then on, no matter where he went, Brian would never find me again. On the way to the airport, I received a message from Brian. "Honey, there's an urgent matter at the company today, I won't be back tonight, get some rest early, love you." I didn't reply to him and pulled out the SIM card, throwing it out of the car window. On the high-rise buildings of the city behind her, thousands of drones pieced together Kylie's face and name, staging a grand confession. The confession scene was filmed by someone and quickly went viral online. The comments section was filled with guesses about which CEO was proposing this time. I silently watched the scenery outside the window pass by. Like the endless 10 years between Brian and me, it was quickly fading away. There is no one behind me. My dream once was to travel the world with the money my father left me. But later, Brian became my anchor. I stayed in Jiangqing for him. In this precious place, there was nothing but love that could make me reminisce. Now that love is gone, the ties that bound me are also gone. All grand departures are just a test. A true departure won't even have a goodbye. Brian, farewell, never to be seen again. I boarded the plane, and my heart finally settled. I hope they will like the big gift I prepared for them. In front of the floor-to-ceiling window, Brian held Kylie by the waist, watching the drone show with her. Kylie wrapped her arms around Brian's neck, urging him to do it again. But Brian is no longer interested. I actually haven't replied to his messages until now. His heart is tightly wrapped in a thick layer of unease and anxiety, making it hard for him to breathe. Brian picked up the clothes from the sofa and was about to leave. "I'm going back to be with my wife today." Kylie twisted her waist and threw herself forward, pouting with grievance. "Didn't you promise to stay with me?" "Wife. You only have that eggless hen in your heart, where do you put me and our son?" Hearing my name, Brian's expression instantly turned cold. He slowly turned his head to look at her, anger flashing in his eyes. Brian grabbed Kylie's chin and gritted his teeth. How many times have I told you? I'm just playing with you. Evelyn will always be my beloved wife. If I hear you insult her again, I'll cut out your tongue. Kylie was so scared that her legs went weak, but she still bravely sobbed as she wrapped her arms around Brian's waist. I'm carrying your only child in my belly, why are you being so harsh with me? Besides, would you really be willing to cut out my tongue? Saying this, Kylie was about to unbutton Brian's pants. Brian's expression softened, and with a gentle touch, he caressed Kylie's face with his hand. As long as you obediently listen to me, I'll take care of you for a lifetime. Kylie, with her enchanting eyes, knelt before Brian and shyly said, Brother, don't worry, I will take good care of you. Brian was about to relieve himself when his phone kept ringing beside him. Just as he was about to grab the phone, Kylie snatched it away. No. It must be that woman trying to get you to go back. I won't let you. Brian frowned and whispered, Be obedient, give it to me quickly. Kylie pouted and glanced at the caller ID showing it was Brian's brother, then handed the phone to Brian. As soon as he answered the call, his good friend's anxious voice came through. Brian, are you trying to get yourself killed? Why did you post that kind of video on your company's account? I really think you're drunk, hurry up and delete it. Brian was completely bewildered. What video? His good brother was also stunned. Facebook, you should check it out, it's trending now. If you don't handle it soon, it will be too late. While your sister-in-law isn't into her phone, she might not have seen it on Facebook yet, otherwise, you're done for. He couldn't spare the time to study his words. Brian quickly opened Facebook, and with just one glance, his heart sank completely. 10 minutes ago, the company account posted several videos under a trending topic called #CEO Drone Confession #. There are videos of him and Kylie working out. There are also screen recordings of messages Kylie sent me, as well as the provocative audio she sent me. The deeply affectionate CEO secretly supports a mistress outside while being married, and the mistress even provocatively shows up at his door. This explosive topic instantly ignited trending searches. Netizens are cursing under that Facebook post praising the domineering CEO's drone confession. I originally thought it was a heartfelt proposal from a domineering CEO, but it turns out to be a scumbag cheating on his wife and even got the mistress pregnant. It's simply disgusting. I've never seen such an arrogant mistress, damn, I really want to slap her. The original wife is really pitiful, this man actually wants the original wife to raise the mistress's child. Oh my god, it's really disgusting. Are there any good men left in the world? Netizens even went to Brian's Facebook to insult him. But he couldn't care less about all that, at this moment, he just wanted to confirm whether I had seen those videos. Kylie, who had never seen Brian like this, was already stunned. She also took out her phone to glance at Facebook. Then her entire face turned as white as a sheet, her legs trembling as she collapsed to the ground, pushing herself backward with her hands. Brian's eyes were filled with fury as he stepped closer to Kylie, his voice laced with anger. Didn't I tell you not to cause a scene in front of my wife? I didn't. I didn't. Kylie trembled all over, cold sweat soaking her back. She shivered as she knelt up, tugging at Brian's shirt corner to explain, I didn't send this, I didn't. Brian did not listen to her explanation and slapped her hard across the face. Immediately feeling it was not enough, he grabbed her hair with one hand and struck her with the other without holding back. Kylie's face was swollen from the slaps, but she couldn't care to block it, she could only crawl and tug at Brian's pant leg. Brian. I know I was wrong, but I really didn't send those. Brian kicked Kylie over, if I weren't in a hurry to go back and find Evelyn, I would kill you right now. Kylie got up and rushed out the door to try to catch Brian, but he shook her off violently. She slipped and screamed as she rolled down the stairs. Ah! My stomach! Bright red blood flowed all over the ground from the base of Kylie's legs. Kylie, her face contorted in pain, reached out her hand to Brian. "Brian, our child, save our child." Brian stepped over Kylie and coldly left a remark. "If it weren't for wanting my wife to have a child to keep her company, what makes you think you have the right to bear my child, Brian?" Without caring for Kylie's pale and twisted expression, Brian quickly got into the car. He drove at high speed, running through several red lights, while frantically calling me. "Wife, you must answer the phone, you have to let me explain. I was wrong, I was really wrong, as long as you're okay, you can make me do anything." The only response he received from the other end of the phone was a mechanical female voice. Brian was on the verge of collapse, his tears streaming out in a rush, fear and terror nearly overwhelming him. Finally home. Waiting for him was only a pitch-black house. The moment he turned on the light, Brian saw Uncle Benjamin sitting on the sofa, surrounded by a mess on the floor. The house where we loved has now become a pile of ruins. Even the wedding photo that I once cherished has been smashed beyond recognition and thrown into the corner. It was like grabbing the last straw of salvation. Brian lunged forward and grabbed Uncle Benjamin's shirt corner, pleading desperately, "Uncle Benjamin, where is Evelyn? Please tell me where Evelyn has gone. I'm begging you." But Uncle Benjamin just looked at him with a calm expression. Then he spoke the most cruel words in a deep voice. "Brian, everything you did with that woman outside today, the young lady saw it all with her own eyes. She watched you leave hand in hand, and she saw you holding that woman as you entered the villa." Every word Uncle Benjamin said felt like a knife carving into Brian's heart. Finally, Uncle Benjamin got up to leave. "Evelyn is gone, so this old man must go too, Brian, never to be seen again." Brian's tears flowed uncontrollably, a pain beyond words. He frantically rummaged through the things I had smashed, not stopping even when his hands were covered in blood from the broken glass. He wanted to search, to see if I had left anything for her. In the end, Brian only felt darkness before his eyes, his knees went weak, and after spitting out a mouthful of blood, he fainted. When Brian woke up again, he was in the hospital. It was my little assistant who discovered him. The assistant's eyes were red and swollen, filled with hatred as he looked at Brian. "I came to find Evelyn, and instead I saw you lying on the ground covered in blood. If I weren't afraid of causing a death, I wouldn't want to save you at all. You make me sick. You have no idea how much Evelyn loves you, you scumbag, you don't deserve her love at all." Tears filled the assistant's eyes, falling one by one. Brian got out of bed and knelt down with a thud in front of the assistant. "Do you know where Evelyn is? Please tell me, where is Evelyn? I really can't live without her, I can't be without her." The little assistant took a step back, like a heartless executioner, and said to Brian, "A few days ago, Evelyn returned to the country early to surprise you, but she didn't go home. Instead, she followed your location to a KTV." With a loud bang, something exploded in Brian's mind. So at that moment, Evelyn knew, and that's why Evelyn had been watching him act these days. She calmly watched him spew lies, then slowly became disappointed, desperate, and finally left resolutely. Thinking of this, Brian felt as if his heart had been violently torn open, leaving a bloody gash. He could no longer hold back his anguished cries, pounding his fists one after another against the ground, not caring that his wounds were reopening. In the empty hospital room, the cold wind howled. Brian remembered the night of the wedding when I leaned close to his ear and told him about my parents' love. "Brian, although I once hated my dad for abandoning me to find my mom, I truly envy their love. It wasn't 18 days, nor 18 months, it was a full 18 years. My dad has a fortune worth billions, what woman could he not have? Yet he only held on to my mom and me, living day and night on his longing for her. Brian, what I want is this kind of steadfast love. If one day you no longer love me, please choose a sunny afternoon to calmly finish a meal with me, and I will leave with dignity, wishing you happiness. But if you betray me, if you deceive me, then I will make sure you can never find me for the rest of your life, no matter where you go, I want you to regret and suffer for a lifetime." At that moment, Brian knelt down and swore to the heavens, "I, Brian, will only love Evelyn in this lifetime. I will never betray or deceive her." If I do anything to wrong Evelyn, may I die a terrible death and have no right to see Evelyn in my next life. At that time, Brian truly believed that he would keep his promise for the rest of his life. After all, he loved me more than he loved his own life. If one day, only one of us could survive, he would undoubtedly choose me without hesitation. But how can one resist temptation? How did it end up hurting my heart? Brian stood on the rooftop of the hospital, the howling wind slapping against his face like a slap. He wanted to commit suicide. Every minute and every second of his life without me by his side is a torment. Just as Brian was about to jump down, he suddenly remembered. I hadn't mentioned the divorce to him. So could it be that I was waiting for him to come find me? Brian seemed to have found a reason to live, a look of ecstasy appearing on his face. He whispered, yes, once I find Evelyn and apologize to her properly, she will definitely forgive me. Evelyn, my beloved wife, I'm coming to find you. Brian uploaded his apology video on Facebook. In the video, he was in tears, sincerely expressing his mistakes. He also pleaded with the vast number of netizens, saying that if anyone sees him, they must inform him, and he would offer a generous reward. After Kylie came out of the hospital, she went to find Brian. Seeing Brian in such a ghostly state, she cried like a weeping willow. Brian. She's gone, so what if she's gone? I'm with you. Didn't you say I look like her? I can pretend to be Evelyn and stay by your side. Evelyn doesn't want to have children with you. I'm willing to. How many do you want? I'll give you as many as you want. Brian, I really love you, I truly love you, I'm begging you, can you be with me properly? In the past, a few aspects of Kylie resembling me would make Brian's heart flutter. But now, those few aspects only bring him pain and anger, only remind him. For a counterfeit, he has done such unforgivable things. Brian was instantly furious, he slammed his hand on the table and grabbed Kylie by the neck. What do you think you are? How dare you look like her? It's all because of you, you bitch. If it weren't for you, Evelyn would never have left. She would never have left me. I warned you not to message her, not to provoke her, but you just wouldn't listen. Kylie was nearly suffocated by Brian's grip, her face turned red, and her hands weakly beat against Brian's arm. It wasn't until Kylie was on the verge of fainting that Brian finally let go. He smashed the teacup on the table, and the shards cut Kylie's face. Her face was slashed, and Kylie looked at her bloodied hands, screaming in shock. In the end, it was brother Brian who came to rescue and take him out. His brother looked at him with frustration. Can't you live without Evelyn? Just look at what you've become. Brian looked dejected, with dark circles under his eyes and stubble covering his chin, devoid of any vitality. He forced a few bitter laughs and said, without Evelyn, I might as well be dead. Every second without her is painful for me, every breath I take feels like torture, making me suffer immensely. I can't find myself. Brian's company doesn't care anymore, I stay at home every day looking at my photos on my phone and drinking. The missing person notices sent out yielded no results. During this time, he also visited all the cities I had once mentioned wanting to go to. But in the end, he found nothing. Evelyn, where are you? I only made one mistake, you love me so much, why won't you forgive me? I'm begging you, Evelyn, as long as you are willing to come back, I will do anything you ask. Brian sat alone in the large room, crying like a child. It's normal that Brian can't find me. Because I am currently in a very niche country. The people here are simple and honest, immersed in nature, and rarely use communication devices. So Brian's search for me online was almost completely unknown to the people here. I rented a small house. As soon as I step outside, I can see a golden wheat field. The wind blows through it, like a golden ocean, vast and boundless. It is filled with the scent of freedom and hope. During this time, I have been to many places and seen various landscapes. I saw the roaring waves, the towering mountains, and the vast grasslands. In these places, I seem to have found my true self, experiencing a happiness and freedom that I had not felt in the previous decades. The sun is just right today. I moved a chair to sit by the wheat field, and I want to capture this beautiful scene in a painting. Excuse me, are you Miss Evelyn? A boy with a backpack and glasses, looking like a college student, cautiously asked me. I shook my head with a smile. Sorry, you've got the wrong person. The boy laughed casually and apologized, then took out his phone to show me. This man has posted a lot of videos looking for his wife, and I think you look a lot like the woman in his videos. In the video, Brian looks increasingly haggard, with many gray hairs at his temples, as if he aged several decades overnight. In my impression, Brian has always been a spirited young man. He has never been in such a predicament before. I was a bit lost in thought. The boy sat down beside me, oblivious to everything. But even if you are his wife, I won't tell him you're here. This guy is a scumbag. I heard his wife left him because he was cheating. I remained silent the entire time, just smiling and drawing. Until the boy's next sentence. But evil people get their comeuppance. This man died in a car accident some time ago. I heard it was a disfigured madwoman who ran him over. My brush paused, and the paint spilled out. This man recorded a video before he died, saying he hoped his wife would see it. The boy played the video for me to watch. In the video, Brian is lying on the hospital bed with tubes all over his body. He weakly makes a sound, tears sliding down the corners of his eyes. Evelyn. I love you, I'm sorry, if there is a next life. I didn't finish listening and got up to leave. Miss Evelyn, a boy called out to me, and I paused in my steps. I hope you are happy for the rest of your life. After returning to the room, perhaps feeling relieved, I still uncontrollably shed tears. Evelyn, what's wrong with you? Vincent came in from outside, asking me with a worried expression. He is the only Chinese person I know here, and he is my landlord. He teaches children to paint for free here. My painting skills were also taught by him. I wiped my tears dry and shook my head with a smile. I'm fine. Vincent scratched his head, as if he had mustered up the courage, and took out a handful of flowers from behind him. Evelyn, I like you. Would you be my girlfriend? I am not surprised that he would ask this question. I am not an emotionally dull person. I have always been able to sense Vincent's feelings for me. Thank you for your affection, I said softly. I don't plan to stay here for too long. Vincent quickly said, I can go with you, to the ends of the earth. I opened the window, and warm, gentle sunlight poured in. What I mean is, I won't stay in one place, nor do I want to be tied down by anyone. I will set off for the next stop tomorrow, and if fate allows, we will meet again next time. Vincent seemed a bit downcast. He pressed his lips together and asked me, so where are you going? I thought seriously for a moment, and it seemed that I also didn't know where my next stop would be. Is there really a purpose in life? Everything along the way is scenery. The past is dark and cannot be pursued, while the road ahead is bright and splendid. The story ends.